Hi there and welcome to video number 17. This is the video on multiplying decimals, and it's a grade 3 topic. So I've put the word product here again for you to understand. It might get used in reference to when you are multiplying numbers. It's the result of a multiplication, the product is. The method that we're going to use is just the Chinese box method. The one that I gave you the method for in one of my first videos. So all you need to do is remember to make sure you bring the decimals to a point in the grid where they meet, and then they slide down into a single point down a diagonal line in the grid, and that then puts the decimal into the correct position for the answer. Okay, so I'll show you what I'm talking about with the examples. We've got a couple of simpler examples in question number 1. And we've got this whole number here, 23, and we've got to multiply it by 1.34. So I'm going to draw a grid, not particularly neatly. 1.34 is going to go on the top. I always prefer to put the number that's got more digits along the top, and then the number that it's got less is down the side, so 23. And then I'm going to draw this grid. And I'm going to draw it as neatly as I can, but I'm not going to worry about the squares that I could use, because you won't get them in an exam paper. And there's my grid, it's drawn. Okay, it's a 3 by 2 grid. Now the decimal is very clearly here on the number 1.34, but on the number 23 the decimal doesn't actually exist visibly, but it is there. It's at the end of the number. So we do have 2 decimals to bring into the grid. Okay, and we can do this bit first before we do any calculations if we want. It's going to join at this point here and then slide down into the answer here. Okay, so let's just pop that there for now, right? Now we don't have to worry about it being decimals. All we have to do is multiply the numbers and then add the diagonals, get the answer. Okay, so 4 multiplied by 2 is 8, or 0.8 for this grid. 4 times by 3 is 12, and then 3 times 2 is 6, and try and make it look like a 6. And 3 times 3 is 9, and 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 3 is 3. Now we add the diagonals, so we've got the 2 here, and we've got 8 plus 1, which is 9, plus another 9, which is 18. Carry the 1 over, put in a little bubble. That's a 6, 9, that's 10. Put the 0 of the 10 there, carry the 1 over. And then 2 plus 1 is 3. So we get our answer of 30.82. And isn't that a lovely way of doing that question? We've got in B, we've got 2 decimal numbers. Now you might want to do this one. I'll show you a slightly different way. You might want to do this one by multiplying to make whole numbers before. So we're going to multiply this number by 100 and this number by 100. Now if you've multiplied both numbers by 100, you're going to have to remember you've multiplied both numbers by 100 and then divide your answer that you get to 56 multiplied by 72. Divide it by 10,000. Okay, move the decimal place back 4 spaces because you've multiplied 2 numbers by 100, and 100 times by 100 is 10,000. So let's do 56 multiplied by 72 in our Chinese box method. We could use other methods are available for you to use. And yeah, I'm going to squeeze this one in. So that's going to be 42. That's going to be 12. That's going to be 35, and that's going to be 10. And we've got 2, we've got 3, we've got 9, 10 there. Carry the 1 over, and that will give you 4. So our answer will have the digits 4, 0, 3, 2. But remember, we multiplied that 1 by 100 and that 1 by 100. So we divide by 100, and then we divide by 100 again. Okay, and overall there we have divided by 10,000. And our final answer to that question is 0.4032. Okay, so that's a slight adaptation on how you could do one of these questions when you've got those decimals. Okay, now in question 2 we've got some words, and got to interpret those words and figure out what we need to do to answer the question. Mr. Abbas's class are going on a trip to the coal factory. Lucky children. There are 16 students and it will cost them £4.56 each. How much will the trip cost in total? So this is a simple case of multiplying the decimal by the whole number of students that there are. I'm going to take the 4.56 I'm going to multiply by 16. I've got it much like the first question, but it was worded, so we had to figure out what we needed to do. Okay, and I'm pretty confident most people will be able to do that without too much pain. So that's going to give us 6. That's going to give us 36. That's giving us 5. That's giving us 30. That's 4. And that's 24. You've got 6. You've got 9. You've got, so I'm struggling to read what I've written there. That's 5. That's 0. So that's 8. That's 12. Carry the 1 over. That's 6. That's 1. 7. So the decimal is going to pop in between here because it slides in from the end of 16 there into here, joins at this point, slides down this diagonal. So £72 and 96 pence is what the trip is going to cost in total, which is a reasonable answer, isn't it? It's not a huge amount of students, and it doesn't cost a huge amount of money to go to the coal factory for each student. So it's, it's a sensible answer. Some people might have put £7,296 and you'd be thinking that's not a sensible answer, so you'd have to revise what you've done and figure out where you've made a mistake. Okay, now in question 3, I am going to read that one and see what I have to do. This is more contextual and introduces another topic as well, and I quite like doing this with these sorts of things, so be wary of that. You've got to calculate the area of a rectangle with a length of 14.8 centimeters and a width of 3.23. Now this involves you understanding how to calculate the area of a rectangle, and I'll do a video on that so you don't have to worry too much if you're not sure. But in this instance it's pretty simple calculation. It's just multiplying the length by the width. Okay, so here's our rectangle, and we've got, that's an awful rectangle, but 14.8 is the length and 3.23, and both are in units of centimeters. So we're going to multiply them together, and we've got a 3 by 3 digits, so it's going to be a relatively large grid. 3.23, 14.8, and then a big grid to draw, and I'll try and draw it nicely again. This is the neatest one I've done, and it takes a bit of a while to set it up nicely. So I'll just fill that with some nonsense. And 3 multiplied by 1 is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times by 8 is 24. 2 times by 1 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 8 is 16. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 8 is 24. Now add the diagonals. We've got 4. We've got, that's a 2, that's a 2, so that's 4, that's 10. Carry that over. That's 11, 12, 13, 14, 18. Carry the 1. 2, 4, 6, 7, 4. And there's our answer, or the digits of our answer. And the decimal is here and here. It's going to slide in down here. So 4, 7, and then 0.804. Okay, and that then would be the units of centimeters squared, because every time you are working out an area, your units have to be squared units for your answer. Anyway, that's a different topic, and we'll come to it later, like I said. Now, relatively long video, this one, but I've done a few things. I've done a more complicated example. Please like the video if you've learned something from it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And keep practicing your maths, people, and enjoying it, and yeah, being good to each other. Thanks very much for watching again.